Welcome to AS and A-level chemistry. Our topic for today is nitrogen and sulfur. So today we are going to talk about two very specific elements in the periodic table, nitrogen and sulfur, about their reactions, about their oxides more importantly, and see how significant they are. So nitrogen, as you know, is the most abundant gas in the atmosphere. And what's important to know right now is that it's highly unreactive. So there are two reasons why nitrogen is highly unreactive. So if you remember the structure of nitrogen, if we just take a nitrogen atom, let's just take a nitrogen atom over here right now. Now we have in the outermost shell, this is a nitrogen atom. In the outermost shell, we have 5 electrons, right? Because there are total 7 electrons in nitrogen. So 2 electrons in the first shell, then 5 electrons in the second shell. So it has 5 electrons, 5 outer electrons. Okay, so now if there is another nitrogen atom which has also 5 electrons, as you know, so 5 electrons each. Now the thing is that we know that these elements, elements bond to complete their octet, which is to get a full outer electronic configuration. So what they will do is, when they are together to bond, in order to get stable, they will bond together, these two nitrogen atoms, they will bond together to form a molecule, a nitrogen molecule, which is basically nothing but and then they will have a lone pair each, and therefore they have bonded together. Now you can see that they form a triple bond. When two nitrogen atoms bond together, they form a triple bond, which is this bond, right? So the thing is that this triple bond is very strong. So because it is very strong, it's very difficult to break this bond. A lot of energy is needed to break the bond. And because of this difficulty to break the bond, nitrogen is highly unreactive. Now the second reason that nitrogen is unreactive is because the molecule is non-polar. The N2 molecule is non-polar. Now you can see that both nitrogen atoms in this molecule have equal electronegativities, right? They have equal electronegativities. So the electronegativity difference is 0. The electronegativity difference is 0, and due to 0 electronegativity difference, the bond is non-polar. And because the bond is non-polar, the molecule is non-polar, and therefore it's highly unreactive, because polar molecules tend to be more reactive, right? So you need to know these things about nitrogen. So that's why nitrogen is used in packets of chips and other things, because they are filled with nitrogen, because obviously you know that nitrogen will not react with anything. So it's actually a very useful way to prevent things from reacting with food by storing them in by sealing them in packets that have nitrogen in them, right? That have nitrogen air filled, gas filled in them. So now we can move forward. So oxides of nitrogen. Now even though nitrogen is highly unreactive, it does react with oxygen under certain conditions. So it reacts with oxygen through nature. Now this is during lightning. So what is lightning? Lightning is energy, right? So there is so much energy in lightning that it is enough to break the bonds in nitrogen. So because it is enough, the energy is enough to break the bonds in nitrogen, it can combine with oxygen to form oxides of nitrogen, which we call NOx. Now we call these NOx because X can be 1, X can be 2. So like nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen dioxide. So there are several oxides of nitrogen, and therefore you don't need to worry about anything. So you just need to know that oxides of nitrogen, and that's it. So you don't have to write nitrogen monoxide or dioxide, you just need to write oxides of nitrogen. So this is one way of forming oxides of nitrogen. Now the other way of forming oxides of nitrogen is through cars. Now what happens in cars is that in the internal combustion engines of cars, you know that so much heat is being produced because fuel is being burnt. Fuel is burnt in cars, and therefore